the very thing that became the headline in the Carmelo Anthony trial, which was the fact that no black jury member was seated. It's the very thing that can possibly get his conviction overturned. I talked to you about this on day
Mm,
one. His attorney, to his credit. Now, in my opinion, he did not do a great job trying this case, but to his credit, he did object to the jury racial makeup, which
okay.
preserved.
Okay. So basically, he went ahead and objected to the racial makeup before anything got started. So then later on, if we want to use that as a way to appeal the outcome, we can definitely use it, but only if we mention it beforehand. We can't, you can't, if we miss the deadline, you can't come back and do it. You feel me? But with him going ahead and putting that in the air, that definitely gave him a lifeline. All right, so let's continue to the video.
The error or potential error for an appeal. And
Okay.
that's where we're headed. All
Okay.
right,
All right.
I'll put it up for a man.
So basically, if there's potential evidence that the jury selection process was motivated by racial bias, this man definitely has an opportunity to get a reconsideration on this case, man. What's up, everybody? Welcome to JMR Reacts. Today we are discussing a legal question that has been making headlines across the internet. Could Camelo's conviction be overturned if no black jurors were selected during the jury selection process? Okay, of course, we're referring to the case involving Carmelo Anthony, the Texas teen accused of fatally stabbing his fellow classmate Austin Metcalf during an altercation at a high school track meet. Okay, this case has been drawing significant attention and sparking intense debate online. And today we're going to focus on the legal aspects of the case, specifically whether the case could potentially be challenged if there are no black jurors during the selection of the jurors process. Okay, all right, but before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is for discussion and informative purposes only. I am not a lawyer, and nothing in this video is considered as legal advice. All right, so without further ado, man, if you're new to the channel, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because your boy going live. So let's go ahead and hop into it. All right. So a lot of people have been asking whether the absence of black jurors alone could automatically overturn a conviction. And the simple answer is not necessarily. In the U.S., the defense has the constitutional right to a fair and impartial jury, but however, the court is not required that a jury consist of members of a specific race. All right? They're not required to do that. You feel me? All because, Pookie and Day Day on the case don't mean it got to be auntie and brother, cousin, sister, uncle, baby daddy in the jury. It don't have to be like that, but it does have to be fair as far as who they select, and they want to choose people that are going to make a fair judgment on all aspects of the court case. Okay, but let's go ahead and hop into the video, man. Let's get started.
According to Atlanta Black Star, the Texas jury that sentenced Carmelo Anthony to 35 years in prison this month did not include a single black member on the jury. Even though the initial jury pool was made up of almost 600 residents of Collin County, where you have more than 10% of the residents are black, and that judicial decision is where Anthony stands the best chance to successfully appeal this conviction, according to legal experts interviewed directly by Atlanta Black Star. Now, remember, in an appeal has to remedy an error. The error, 9 times out of 10, cannot simply be an error noted. It must be an error that your defense attorney has
As
objected
mentioned.
to.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no objection to the judicial error, you may not have the opportunity to preserve that issue
Later
for an
on.
appeal. So a lot of things are technically appeal worthy, but if the defense attorney did not say objection, Your Honor, it doesn't preserve the appeal later. All right. So this is a different scenario. The attorney did object. Quote, I know during jury selection, the district attorney struck 3 qualified black jurors, said Alexis Hogue Fajor, a criminal law professor at Brooklyn Law School and a nationally recognized expert on race and the criminal legal system. Quote, and what I mean by 3 qualified black.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. So they struck 3 qualified black jurors because they were teachers. Okay. And then what's crazy is they have credentials. Literally have credentials to say that they are qualified to do what they say that they need them to do, but yet they're saying that they're not qualified to do what they say they need them to do. What? What is this mess, bro? What is this shit? For real, bro. We're gonna go ahead and continue through the video, man. This is wild, dog. This is wild. And like I said, man, the U.S. are not required to, appoint a specific race into the jury box just because of the fact. But where things get legally significant is how they are selected. Okay. If an attorney intentionally excludes potential jurors because of their race, and we can prove it, that definitely raise some constitutional concerns. Definitely. 110%. You feel me? So we got to take every step with consideration. Every single step. Okay. In a groundbreaking case, Superior Court case in 1986 called Batson v. Kentucky, prohibits prosecutors from striking juries solely on the basis of their race. It's already happened. Okay? Already happened. Now, in that case, James Batson, a black man, was convicted by an all-white. The court found that this violated the Equal Protection Clause because the strikes were racially motivated. See what I mean? That's where we going right there. That's where we going. That's our next angle, bro. That is how we going to weasel ourselves back in there, man. Because this man deserves a fair shot. A fair opportunity to represent himself without having to worry about people just saying, oh, he black, he a criminal. You feel what I'm saying? Give that man a fair shot. He is a kid, bro. He is a kid. And it's unfortunate that a young man lost his life. I do not support that shit at all. That shit was absolutely wrong. And I feel that in a certain element, yes, bro does need to show some responsibility for what he did, because he did do something. He's not completely innocent. You feel me? He did do something, and he made an impulsive decision, and there's consequences for those decisions. But at the same time, be fair in your punishment. Be fair. He's a child. He's a child. He's a child. Let's continue through the video.
Jurors is these were jurors who indicated they could view the evidence impartially. Now, when jury selection takes place, every attorney worth their weight will tell you you win or lose the case based on the jury. Okay? If you're a real trial lawyer, you win or lose the case based on the makeup of the jury. They did preemptive strikes of the black jury members because the prosecutor did not want school teachers or educators to be on the jury. There's more. But the three black jury members were rejected because they were educators, which prosecutors argued would make them too biased to serve as qualified jurors in a case stemming from an altercation between 2 high school students on school grounds. The initial jury pool consisted of 589 prospective jurors, which was narrowed to about 250.
I understand
and then
the grounds of how they
final jurors,
how they tried to
12
structure that that strike. I get that, but at the same time, they are literally individuals that are qualified to do exactly what you're saying that they're not qualified to do. And then on addition to that as well, all because they school teachers doesn't necessarily mean automatically that they're gonna be biased. There's potential for bias motivation just because of the fact, but Shit, man, please. At this day and age, some of these teachers, they don't even want to be teachers. They be like, man, fuck them kids, man. So don't necessarily mean that all because they're school teachers and he's a student that they just automatically gonna take his side, you know. And then all because he black doesn't mean they gonna automatically take his side. You feel me? So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that choice, bro. Sounds racially motivated to me. Sounds like they did that shit. Thank you, shit.
Seated
Anyway, let's go ahead.
and 6 alternatives. So I want you to
Let's see.
understand the ridiculous logic of the
Mm-hmm.
prosecutor. Prosecutor says
And
because they happen.
let's go over this part too. So in the jury pool, there's 600 people. It said like 589. It said 589 on this one. So 589. It go from 589 to 250. Right? I guess they do like all types of interviews, and there's all types of different factors that disqualify these other people or send these people on their way because you know, they don't necessarily want them. They want these specific people. You feel what I'm saying? So anyway, they doing this chopping down and sending people back home and all of this good jazz, and they come up with 12 people at the end of all of this, you know, disqualification party, whatever the case may be. um 12 people, bro. 12 people. 12 people. So out of these 12 people, they gotta be a melting pot of races, nationalities to be able to make a proper judgment on somebody's life, especially a little kid life, you know, that made a mistake. Everybody has to be on point. Everybody has to be, you know, really listening to the facts and paying attention to all the aspects of the scenario, how people were feeling, what was going on, and really make a strong, honest judgment on how they feel that this case should go. Not just saying, oh, he's black, you know, he's a troublemaker, you know, and try to send a man up the river, all because of the fact that he's black, not necessarily because the evidence of the facts, or the facts of the evidence. There you go, facts of the evidence. My bad, I said that shit backwards. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue.
To be educators, they do not have the ability to impartially weigh the evidence. That makes zero sense.
Hmm.
0 cents.
Zero.
They're not educators at the school
Yeah,
that either individual,
that would make
in this
sense. That
case,
would make sense. That would be
went
like, you
to.
know, that
They
would be
don't
like
have a.
conflict of interest. You know, that'd be conflict of interest because that's obvious. He could be potentially, you know, one of their students at one period of time. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that would make sense. That part will make sense. But all because of they are educators doesn't necessarily mean that they would have a bias, you know, a bias mindset. That doesn't make any sense. Makes sense. 0 cents whatsoever.
Connection to the victim,
None.
who's deceased, nor the alleged defendant. They do not have a connection to the school itself.
Mm,
And somehow they would not be able to impartially weigh the evidence.
mm.
There's no
Math
logic
ain't
to that.
mathing.
The only logic would be if you can prove that they have some type of relationship to the case.
Right.
That makes sense. But if you do that, it's no longer a preemptive strike.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a strike done based on the merit of each individual
Mm-hmm.
and their ability to impartially weigh the evidence.
Mm.
It is unconstitutional to reject jurors based on race, ethnicity,
Oh, okay. All right.
or
Had a little
gender,
pause
which is
there.
why prosecutors base their rejection of the black women on their occupations and nothing else. However, if it turns out that other non black jurors were also educators, that would provide the young Mr. Anthony with a solid argument to present to the appellate court. That's according to the legal expert. Quote,
Mm.
I haven't read the transcript, but if any of those 18 people are educators and said they were educators, we know that wasn't a race neutral decision. That was just pretext. End quote, she said. In every state except one, prosecutors and defense attorneys are allowed to reject jurors through preemptory strikes, which means they do not have to give a reason as long as it is not explicitly based on race, ethnicity, or
Mm-hmm.
gender.
Mm.
Opposing attorneys can challenge the strikes, which then requires them to provide a reason for striking the members of the jury preemptively. In this case, the reason was, well, they happen to be school teachers, they're educators. Anthony's lawyer objected under a Batson challenge, which was
Mm.
proper to do, arguing that the prosecutors or the prosecution's preemptory strikes against the three black women were unconstitutional, racial discrimination. But the judge rejected the challenge. Okay, so be it. The judge rejected the challenge. I think the
Mm.
challenge was proper, and I believe the preemptive striking of those black women was racially motivated. Not
Now, if you're not familiar with the Batson Challenge is a groundbreaking Superior Court case that happened back in 1986 that prohibits prosecutors from striking jurors solely on the basis of their race. Okay, and in that case, James Batson, a black man, was convicted by an all-white jury. Okay, the court found that this violated the Equal Protection Clause because the strikes were racially motivated. So it helped establish the racial discrimination in the jury selection. It was unconstitutional. It was unconstitutional who they select, and they end up convicting this man. You feel what I'm saying? So, they put that into play. That's what they did. They put that into play, and hopefully, if this works, if this plan works, because I mean, from what it sounds like they 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 might have dropped the ball. They might have dropped the ball because the boy uh I mean not the board, but the individuals that were potentially black jurors, they not educators at the school that he went to. They don't have any ties towards him at all. You feel what I'm saying? At all. Not a part of the school. Uh they don't talk to anybody as far as at the school and nothing like that. So with them just being educators by themselves, it's not enough to strike somebody as far as being on the jury panel. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. So basically you can't judge them from their race, their gender, their ethnicity, but you can judge them from their occupation. Huh? Huh? What? This shit makes no sense, man. This system makes absolutely no freaking sense at all. And I get it's because he's a student and they're teachers, but wasn't we all students at one period in time? What, huh? That makes zero sense. And that's what bro was trying to illustrate. Like that makes zero sense that all because they were teachers, it disqualifies them to be able to properly determine what should go on in this court case. That makes no sense. No sense. All right, but let your boy know what you guys think, man. We gonna go and hop out of this thing, man. I appreciate you guys so much for watching the videos, dog. I will be posting a lot more videos as the weeks go by. I will be picking all types of little subjects and topics and stuff like that, and I might actually be doing some live streams as well on Twitch and on Kick. So if you guys want to come in and hang out, you're more than welcome to, and that will be JMR Reacts on Twitch and on Kick. But until then, man, I love y'all, man, and peace out.